Hello and welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation with me, your host, Owen, guys. Glasgow Rangers Nation, the channel that brings you your team every single day, guys. It brings you updates, it brings you news, it brings you transfer links, speculation, rumours, live streams, game reviews, podcasts. And you know what? We charge nothing for this. We charge absolutely zero, zilch, de nada, nothing for this service. Okay, myself and Victoria are committed to bringing you all this good quality stuff for nothing. And if you want that, guys, you're going to hit the sub, ring the notification bell, and give this video a like, guys. It does help. Remember, if you ring that notification bell, set it to all, it will always spring up on your mobile device or on your computer, reminding you when we have posted or when we are going live. And just a reminder, we are going live tonight at 7:30 here on the channel with James Dalrymple from Toronto Midtown Supporters Club, Rangers Supporters Club in Canada, talk about the Old Firm game, to talk about NASA, to talk about Rangers rebuild over the summer, and talk about all things Rangers. So come and join us for that. Obviously, as well, a massive thank you to all of you who have subscribed to the channel. We are at 1,147 subscribers now. Absolutely phenomenal. I cannot thank you enough for your support, your fabulous support that has grown this channel so hugely in only the last 81 days. Thank you for your support. Well, we're going to talk about a number of things this morning. We're going to talk about Graham Souness. We're going to talk about Morgan Whittaker. We're going to talk about Rangers under 18s. We're going to talk about Malik Tillman. We're going to talk about continued transfer speculation. And that's obviously, that's where the club's going, man. Obviously, we know there's a rebuild coming. We know that this team needs a massive rebuild, and we know it needs a massive restructure. So obviously, we are going to be linked with every man and his dog and his cat and his goldfish and his sheep and whatever else, although we're not Aberdeen. Anyway, let's talk first of all about Malik Tillman. Now, obviously, Malik Tillman had a pretty fantastic season at Rangers. And like I've said on other videos, Tillman is someone who has really divided the Rangers fan base this season. Some say that he has not shown up in the big games. He's gone missing in the games against Celtic, gone missing in Europe, and isn't worth the 5.8 million or the 5 million or whatever it is, 6 million that Bayern Munich want for this young man. Yet there's others that say that he has a terrific, ceiling, that he has great potential. The fact that I think people forget that he's 20 years old. This is his first season in professional football. Prior to coming to Rangers, he'd only made 4 appearances for Bayern Munich. And, he's certainly someone who, given time, given development, he would grow and be worth a substantial amount of money. Michael Beale himself said that, in his opinion, that Malik Tillman is the player with the highest ceiling currently at Rangers, when he was at Rangers, obviously. It has emerged tonight that he may well need surgery on that hamstring injury or groin injury, whatever it was that he got in that semi-final defeat to Celtic, in order for him to come back fully fit next season, wherever it is he decides to sign. Now, obviously, Malik Tillman did speak to the media after winning the Young Scottish Player or the Young Player of the Year in the Scottish League. He talked about the fact that it was very much down between 3 parties now to talk about this transfer, whether it's obviously between Bayern Munich and Rangers, and then obviously down to himself to agree to the move. When asked, obviously, what were the chances, he said it was 50-50. As I suppose, as we know in every life and everybody's life, that's your decision making is 50-50. Is you either do it or you don't do it. There's no other decision, is there? That's it. It's 50-50 on everything. We make a decision to stay with a job. We make a decision to leave a job. We make a decision to challenge ourselves, not to challenge ourselves. We make those decisions every single day. And that's something that Malik Tillman obviously will be making this summer as regards his future. Now, I've heard now on a number of podcasts, reading a number of articles, talking to a number of Rangers insiders, that it appears the likelihood of Tillman coming back to Scotland is growing increasingly slim indeed, and that he is unlikely to return to Rangers. Now, obviously, there's been rumours saying that he doesn't like Scotland, doesn't like Scottish football. That apparently is not true. That's very much sort of dreamed up by those who love to dream up these rumours and these try to cause a little bit of trouble, shall we say. Now, one journalist I was listening to this morning on Rangers Review, Johnny McFarlane, again a Rangers insider, someone who does talk to players, does get to those news conferences, said the following. He said that I'm hearing that he won't sign. I've heard from a couple of people now that ultimately Malik still sees his future elsewhere. I've certainly got to echo what Johnny McFarlane is saying. That is what I am hearing as well from talking to some insiders that I know, talking to people with a few links to the club, that it looks very much unlikely that he will come back. McFarlane went on to say he's really enjoyed his time at the club, but there's interest from the top 5 leagues in him. I'm not surprised at that. Look at his talent. It's straightforward why there would be people that want to snap him up at that kind of price. Now, people obviously think that 5 million, 6 million is a lot of money. And for Rangers, I suppose at the moment, yes, it is a lot of money, isn't it? It is a considerable amount of funds. However, to teams in the EPL, to teams in La Liga, to teams in Germany, to teams in certain teams in France, obviously like Monaco and Paris Saint-Germain, Nice, teams in Portugal like Sporting and FC Porto. That's not a lot of money. 5-6 million is a drop in the ocean. That's the sort of money that Premier League clubs play for squad players. Players that may only play 5 to 10 times a season from the bench. That's not a great deal of money to them. So 5 million is a bit of a drop in the ocean when it comes to that. McFarlane went on to say, I think he sees the idea of coming back to Rangers and playing week in, week out against lower likes of the Premiership as not being something that's really going to stretch him or develop him further, as it's not benefited him in the short term. And I think that's always the worry, isn't it? The Rangers and Celtic obviously are ultra dominant, and it's becoming, with the way the league's gone this year, and I know we've lost games to Aberdeen and people like that, but overwhelmingly the league is coming down to 4 games, isn't it? It's coming down to the old firm games, and I think next season there's a very strong possibility that Rangers and Celtic could go through the season undefeated against all the rest of the teams in the SPL, and the league could very much come down to the outcome of those old firm games. Due to the gap, I think, massively widening. You've just got to look at the points gap between Rangers in second and Aberdeen in third at this moment, which is well over 20 points, which in any league is not good, is it, in terms of competitiveness? But Tillman, it said, doesn't feel that he is tested at that level, that he wants to get better, that he wants to challenge himself, and that, going to play in England or in Germany in the Bundesliga, even where Bayern are being pushed at the moment by the likes of Leipzig and Dortmund and Mönchengladbach and people like that, he could develop and get better. The other thing I think, that people sometimes, I think, on the counter side to signing him, people thought about, well, we can sell him on for 15, 20 million. I think the likelihood is that Tillman will have a buyback clause inserted in his contract by Bayern Munich, in which they may well cap the price at 10 million. In which case, are you really going to want to make back the money you spend plus the wages you give him? And that's something you've got to think about. Yes, we may have only paid 5.8, 5.5 million. We may get back 10 million. But remember, you are investing a signing on fee. You are investing wages in that player. And, you want to kind of try and recoup those as well. And so selling him on for 15, 20, 25 million, to one of the EPL clubs could very much do that. But I can't see Bayern doing that. Bayern will be clever and will want to insert a sell on that they get that first refusal, so that then obviously the season they can sell him on if they want to for 15, 20, 25 million pounds. So very much up in the air. Like I said, my personal opinion is that he won't be back. We won't see him again in the Rangers shirt. I think he will be playing somewhere else in one of those top 5 leagues. I think there's a likelihood that he want to stay at Bayern Munich. Rumours that Bayern are going to allow Sadio Mane to leave this season. I'm not saying that Tillman is in the same class as Mane, but obviously opening up squad places on the Bayern Munich first team squad. Okay, so let's move on with obviously another transfer link. Now, obviously in January, Rangers signed Todd Cantwell and Nicholas Raskin. Now, one player they were allegedly interested in as well was this young man, Morgan Whittaker. Morgan Whittaker, who has spent most of this season at Swansea City. He and Plymouth Argyle as well. So he's a Swansea player who's been on loan at Plymouth. My apologies there. So, in terms of Morgan Whittaker, he is someone that is felt as a winger, someone that, could come in and add to that front line. And that's certainly, an area that Rangers need to strengthen. He's 22 years old. He's only very young. He's 6'3". He's quick. He's skillful. He obviously is a Swansea player. He started his career with Derby County, where he made 25 appearances, scoring 1 goal between 2019 and 2021. From 2021 onwards, he's been with Swansea City. He's made 33 appearances for Swansea, scoring 2 goals. Has had loan spells at Lincoln, where he made 20 appearances, scoring 5 goals, and has spent this season on loan in League One in England, with Plymouth Argyle, where he has scored 9 goals in 25 appearances. It's apparently rumoured that the manager of Plymouth, Stephen Schumacher, is very keen to retain his services as Plymouth move into the Championship next season. But Rangers were linked to him in January. Is this another deal that Michael Beale is going to try and push through? Again, this is a player that we have been previously linked with. And like Beale said when he was interviewed about those transfer links, he says you will very much see the links when we bring these players in. So is Morgan Whittaker a player we're going to go for? I personally think, with the Palmer deal, if that is to be believed, and like I said, it is being heavily rumoured, a £4.4 million bid has gone in, that if Palmer comes, that maybe Whittaker will not be on Rangers' radar again this summer. But hey, like I said, it is all down to speculation. We are going to be linked with every man and his dog. The Joel Piroe rumours persist as well. Joel Piroe is a centre forward that's played for Swansea this season. Again, scored over 20 goals for the second season in a row. Dutch player, very talented. Certainly someone I would like to see Rangers go after. He's someone I feel that could score 25 to 30 goals a season in the SPL and really add to that front line and give Rangers what they need up front. If you look at this season, one of the things for me has been that we do lack that cutting edge. We do lack that real finisher up front. Cholak did okay, but I don't think he's the answer. Morelos obviously is off. Morelos has never scored more than 18 goals in a season, so he's never broke the 20-goal mark. We need someone in the same mould as, unfortunately, I'm going to have to say his name, Kyogo, who's going to score you those goals, who's going to be clinical in front of goal. That is one thing. Kyogo is not a great player, but he is clinical in front of goal, and that's what you need to go on and win league titles, cups, etc., and succeed in Europe as well, which obviously is going to be something that is on Rangers' radar with those European Champions League qualifying ties. Although the Champions League is apparently going to be very bizarre next year. More of that on a later video. But Joel Piroe is certainly someone who I would love to see Rangers go after and try and bring in this summer, even if it means paying a little bit of a premium price to get him. I do think he is more than worth the money. So Joel Piroe, definitely a name to watch out for. Obviously, it was pretty much confirmed yesterday on the video that I did yesterday that Dujon Sterling is a done deal, according to a number of media outlets in Scotland, that Sterling turned down a new contract at Chelsea to sign for Rangers. He's someone who can play in up to three positions at the back. He can play left back, right back, left wing back, right wing back. Obviously, that's a very similar position. And he can also play as a centre half as well. He's a big guy, a physical guy, a fast, strong guy. Certainly certain sort of player that Rangers need in their team if they're going to rival that lot from across the city. So, obviously welcome to Dujon Sterling. It's felt that the next deal after that will be Kieran Dowell, who apparently Norwich fans are more disappointed to see him leave than Todd Cantwell, which is interesting. And given how wonderful Todd Cantwell's been, well, you know what? Maybe it's a good sign. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't actually seen Dowell play, but I would like to obviously, give him every opportunity. But, we can't, I don't think, draw conclusions. We've got to trust the process. We've got to trust Michael Beale and the scouting team that they can bring in the right players. They certainly did in January with Raskin and Cantwell. We think we've just got to trust them going forward through this summer. Congratulations to Rangers under-18s who beat Celtic, avenging that cup final victory for Celtic by beating them 2-0 tonight. Fair play to the young lads. Obviously they did lose that cup final, but they came back tonight, they fought back tonight, and they got the victory. And well done to the boys. They got one back on them. It was a derby day. It was on Tuesday afternoon, the game. Obviously, it was just 2 weeks ago that they lost that 11-goal thriller against Celtic. Today, second half goals from Chris Eadie and Finlay Curtis were enough to secure a 2-0 victory. These kids will be aiming to make their way into the B team to play in the Lowland League next season. Certainly, we wish those young lads all the best. And obviously, given the fact that there are strong rumours tonight that Rangers will release a large number of those B team players this summer, including the likes of Charlie Lindsay, Kapaka, the guy who came from Chelsea, and a number of other players that will be released, this summer. It will obviously open spaces in that B team for some of these young lads to come in and try and push and try and sort of demonstrate that they are up to the task, and that they will, be capable of representing Rangers in the future. Apparently, the rumor is going around at the moment that there'll be 7 players released by the B team. Now, obviously, there is a concern here that we're not obviously developing these players, we're not bringing them through. That that all the money that's been spent on youth development, that we want to see a return for that. Obviously, the likes of Zach Lovelace, Alex Lowry, Bailey Rice, Robbie McCrory, Leon King have come through, but there's a concern that some players aren't making that step up, and that is something obviously that we hope in the future we can rectify and bring through our own talent. If you can bring through your own talent through the system who are indoctrinated in the Rangers way, it stands the club in good stead. Apparently, players whose contracts expire who are not due to have those contracts renewed include Lewis McKinnon, Alex Kapatka, Kelsey Ewan, Harley Ewan, Kevin Chiabataru. Apparently, Sunderland and Derby are keen on Lindsay, however. So, a number of players who could well be on the way out of the B team. Okay, final piece of news this morning concerns former Rangers manager Graham Souness. And before any of you get your knickers in the twist about him being a director of football, that is not the role that I'm going to talk about. Apparently, he has spoken to James Bisgrove about getting a role within the club. Now, it'd be more an ambassadorial role linked to the board rather than anything directly influencing the team at this stage. Graham Souness was an absolute legend when he came up to manage Rangers. He was certainly, he was the manager that when I started supporting Rangers, he was definitely one of the reasons why I became interested in the Glasgow Rangers and started supporting them. And obviously with Chris Woods, Terry Butcher, and the rest of the English guys who came to play in Scotland. As a player, obviously a player manager, he made 50 appearances, scoring 3 goals for Rangers. In terms of his managerial, he won the 86-87 Scottish Premier Division, the 88-89, the 89-93 titles there, Scottish League Cup in 86-87, 87-88, 88-89, and 1991. 4 titles there, and was certainly 4 cups there. Sorry, he was certainly someone who never took any prisoners and definitely took the game to that lot across the city. Made them know that we were there. Certainly turned things around. I think started to grow the club into being successful again. And he was an absolutely superb manager for Rangers at the time, and obviously it was very sad to see him go, which caused some controversy, as we know, at the time. But Graham Souness, I would certainly welcome him back to have some involvement with the club. If that was an ambassadorial role, fantastic. It would be great to have him back at Rangers. The more people you have around the club that have had success here, that know what it is to be involved with the club and can inspire those around them, the better for Rangers, I think, going forward. And it certainly seems that John Bennett and James Bisgrove have very much got that intention to move this club forward. We've seen, obviously, with all those departures that have come at board level and below, and on obviously the side of the sporting director, Ross Wilson, that's gone, the academy director that's gone, that there is a real drive from Bennett and Bisgrove to change the direction of this club and to push this club forward. And it certainly seems they are backing Michael Beale from all accounts this summer. So, this could be very much a positive move for Rangers to bring back someone like Souness to be involved in an ambassadorial role, and obviously to still be I don't know, you can still have him there as a sounding board, someone to talk to. If Michael Beale wanted to talk to him, or if James Bisgrove or John Bennett wanted to get some advice from him as well, he's there, and that's why you've got him there. Certainly not the director of football role. I don't think he's had any interest in that or any talks about that. I don't think that would be a role that would interest Graham. I don't think that's the sort of thing that he would want to do. That's a very un-Graham-like role, in my opinion. So, guys, let me know, what would you think? Would you love to see Graham Souness back at the club in some sort of ambassadorial role, involved with the club, having some influence here? I've got to say that I've been impressed with what John Bennett and James Bisgrove have done so far. They really seem to have changed the direction of the club. They seem to be moving the club forward and moving it in a very modern direction, moving in a very positive direction, and having the best interest of the club at heart. Obviously, there's a big, huge summer coming up. We need to obviously, reserve judgment, trust the process, keep the faith with the people that are there, that they can do and make the right decisions for Rangers through this summer to put us in a position next season to really compete, starting obviously with qualifying for that Champions League, to get that much needed Champions League money, and then obviously taking that forward into the league and the 2 cup competitions to compete with our neighbours from across the city. Well, guys, as always, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you here on Glasgow Rangers Nation. I would love, if you have enjoyed the content, for you to hit that sub. If you ring the notification bell, set it to all, you will get all the great news, the daily updates, the live podcast, the live streams, everything, guys. And if you set it, like I said, you won't miss out on it. Completely free as well. We don't charge you for that. So come and join the over 1,000 others who've already hit that sub, who've already joined the channel, those diehard Rangers fans who love the club and just want as much news and to engross themselves in as much Glasgow Rangers as possible. And we will be going still through the close season, the off season, bringing you all the latest news, rumours, and details coming out of the club. Guys, I'm back to speak to you again here really soon here on the channel. Obviously, back tonight with a pod with Victoria and James Dalrymple from Toronto Midtown Rangers Supporters Club. Thank you so much for watching. We are the people.